Hey guys, what's up? Today we will be learning how to connect a Flutter frontend application to a backend Python application. So what we have is a really basic Flutter application, and all the app consists of is a flat button. When we press the button right now, as you guys can see that nothing shows up because we haven't set up our scripts yet. But once we set up our scripts, you guys will see the response that we will get from our Python server script. And then we have just done some decoration in order to center the button and the text that's going to display the response. Now going to our Python script, in Python we will be using a micro-web framework known as Flask. Flask make it really simple to develop and deploy web apps in real time. If you guys want to read more about it, I will leave a link in the description. You guys can go and check it out. How you get Flask in your Python script is all you need to do is just perform a pip install and do Flask. Once you run the command, you will see that Python goes ahead and installs Flask for you. Then we will perform two inputs. One will be Flask and the other one will be JSONify. And what you see here is a really basic Flask template that you will see in every Flask application. Here we are just creating an instance of our Flask app and assigning it to the app variable. And then when we do if name is equal to main, if we're running a Python script directly from Python, it will always be true, which will further run our application. And just make sure that you run it in the debug mode, because any changes you will make, in that case, you guys don't have to shut down your server every time and restart it. Now, before we begin coding, we just need to get a dependency that we will use in order to send requests from our front end to the back end. For that, we just need an HTTP package. You guys can find that package by Googling up HTTP Flutter package. Click on the first link, go under installing, and just copy this dependency. Once you copy this dependency, come back to your Flutter file and come under pubspec.yaml file and paste it there and save it. Once you save it, you will see that Flutter goes ahead and installs it for you. Go back to your main file and we will perform two inputs. The first input will be the HTTP package we just installed. It will be imported as HTTP, and the other import that we will be doing will be Dart convert. All right, now once we do that, let's set up our empty string variable that we will reassign to display the data. So it will be string, and I will name it greetings. You guys can name it anything you want. Save it there, copy this, and in the text, just paste it there. All right, and once we do that, we just need to now set up our button so that once we press the button, it goes to our Python script, get the data, and display it on the screen. So how we're going to do that is basically we're going to send an HTTP GET request. GET request basically helps you retrieve data from your server. There are different kinds of requests with HTTP, such as post, put, delete. But for this video, we will just focus on GET, and in future videos, we will see how to use other requests. So in order to set up the button, we just need to do a final response. Again, it's a random variable. You guys can name it anything you want. And we will use an await keyword. The reason we are able to use await is because we are in an asynchronous function, and await keyword will make sure that once we get the data from our server, it is only after that the code we write after response will be executed. So we do await http.get, and now as you guys can see that we need a URL for this. We will get our URL from our Flask application. So going to our Flask app, what we're going to set up here is something known as routes. Routes are path on your server script that helps you delete, update, retrieve data from your server. How you set up a route is as simple as doing app.route, and then you just simply put the route path, and then you do methods, and because it will be a GET request, so we will just do it as GET. So here, because we are just going to use one route, we are going to do slash, but if you want to create multiple routes, it's as simple as just adding a word after it for the task that you're performing. Let's say if you're creating a new user, we are just going to do user, and then in our HTTP request from our front end, we just simply add user after the URL. I will show you in a minute what I mean by that. So for now, we will just leave it as user, and then we will define a function that will be executed once we hit that specific route, and then we will just simply return JSONify, and let's pass in a key value pair that will be greetings. You can name the key anything you want, and let's just return, hi, this is Python. All right, so now our route has been set up. Now, once you set up the route, you guys just need to run the script, and in your terminal, you will see something similar to HTTP. Just copy that, go back and paste it inside Git. So what I meant with user here was all you need to do is just add user here. Again, because we're just gonna specify one route, we will stick to slash. But if you're creating multiple routes, you just need to send a request to that specific route to perform that specific function. So let's just delete this for now, and let's go here and delete this. All right. So now once we get the data from our Python server script, we need to decode it back to the key value pair format because it's still in a JSON format. The reason it's in a JSON format is because we're using JSONify here. We are able to use JSONify because we're importing it from Flask. And all JSONify does it takes in the data and converts it into a JSON format that then can be sent back to our front-end application, right? So how we decode it now is we declare a variable. You can name it anything you want, and we just simply do JSON.decode it. We are able to use JSON because of the package that we imported earlier that was .convert, and we just do response.body. That is where our data is that we have retrieved from the server script, and we do it as a map that is string and dynamic. All right, once we do that, we just need to do set state. We're able to use set state because we are in a stateful widget, and we do greetings equals to decoded greetings. Let me just double check if the key's name was greetings. Yes, perfect. Now we just need to restart the application, and we have already assigned greetings here. So once we press the button, it should go ahead and send an HTTP request to this specific route. Then once we get the data, we will store it in response, and then we will decode it back to a key value pair, and we will store it in decoded, and then we will just simply use a set state in order to reassign it back to greetings. So this time, instead of an empty string, greetings will display this particular thing that we are returning. All right, let's test it out. Now, when we press the button, we will see the response on the screen. Let's press the button, and there you go. You see the response, and it's the exact same response that we are sending from a Python server script. So this, guys, was a really basic front-end, back-end communicating app. I hope this gave you a good understanding of how actually a front-end application works with a back-end application. The core concept in every language is going to be the same. It's just how you do it might be a bit different depending upon that language syntax. If you really like the video, do hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you.